3753, the Energy Permitting Reform Act of 2024. This is a bipartisan bill that Chairman Manchin and I have negotiated with input from members of this committee over the last year. The bill is a targeted set of consequential reforms within the committee's jurisdiction. It's going to boost American energy and mineral production. It will help lower costs for American families. It will strengthen our economic and national security and the security of our allies around the world. Our bill will guarantee future access to oil and natural gas resources on federal lands and waters. It will permanently end President Biden's reckless ban on new liquefied natural gas exports. It will fix the disastrous Rosemont decision by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. And it will ensure that new transmission lines meaningfully improve electric reliability and actually benefit customers. Our bill includes a series of reforms for onshore oil and gas leasing and permitting. For example, it requires the Secretary of Interior to lease acreage that oil and gas producers actually want. It also eliminates duplicative requirements for federal drilling permits on state and private land. Even a new administration will not be able to enact these reforms under current law. Our bill also mandates at least one oil and gas lease sale in the Gulf of Mexico each year from 2025 through 2029. That's 5 total lease sales. Each sale offers at least 60 million acres. Under existing law, a new administration would only be able to hold 2 lease sales in the next 4 years. Our bill permanently ends President Biden's so-called pause on new American LNG exports. President Biden's pause has been a gift to Russia and Qatar, the world's other leading LNG exports. Our bill requires the Secretary of Energy to act on LNG export applications within 90 days. If the Secretary fails to act, the application would be deemed approved. Our bill also secures access to critical minerals on federal lands. It fixes the Rosemont decision by authorizing mill sites on federal land, whether or not that land has minerals. It eliminates a legal strategy that opponents have pursued for nearly 30 years to block access to minerals on federal lands. Even a new administration would not be able to fix the Rosemont decision under current law. Our electric transmission, I followed 3 principles. First, any changes to existing law must improve electric reliability. Second, any changes must not result in more subsidies. And third, any changes must improve the status quo for states, for electric customers, and for landowners. And I believe our bill fulfills these principles. Our bill eliminates the Secretary of Energy's authority to designate national interest electric transmission corridors. The Secretary's process has become far too political. It is something that Senator Hawley has rightly opposed. In its place, the bill requires a transmission developer to show that the FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, in its proposed line meaningfully improves electric reliability. Under current law, the Commission already has broad authority to allocate the costs of new transmission lines. Our bill prohibits the Commission from allocating costs to customers who receive little to no benefit from a new line. It also requires the Commission to consider a specified list of customer benefits that can be quantified and objectively measured. Our bill puts guardrails on the Commission's next rulemaking. FERC staff has already begun developing a rule on interregional transmission planning. Our bill protects the discretion of the 11 existing transmission planning regions. Our bill makes it more likely that neighboring regions will only support lines necessary to improve electric reliability. I want to thank the Chairman and his entire staff for their patience and their perseverance. We would not be here today without their efforts. Our negotiations were not easy. Many points along the way, at many points, it was far from clear that we would ever reach an agreement. And even now, I know members want to do more, especially on hydropower. And you have my commitment that we will keep working on it. Despite the expectations of many, we have put together what I believe is a very strong piece of legislation before us. And for that reason, I encourage all members of the committee to support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Now that we do have a quorum, and we're going to vote on the nomination to be Deputy Secretary of Interior and Shannon Estenos. The question is on the favorability of reporting the nomination of Shannon to be Deputy Secretary of the Interior. The recommendation that the nomination be confirmed. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Manchin.
Aye.
Mr. Wyden.
Aye.
Ms. Cantwell,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Sanders,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Heinrich. Ms. Hirono. Mr. King. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Hickenlooper. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Barrasso.
Aye.
Mr. Risch.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Daines. Ms. Murkowski. Mr. Hoban.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to correct first. Lee is, you said no, okay. Did I read it wrong? Okay, Lee is no by proxy. Do we have anything on Hoban?
And Mr. Hoban.
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Cassidy.
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Hyde-Smith. Mr. Hawley. On this vote, the ayes are 16 and the noes are 3.
With that, she is accepted and being confirmed.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that my statement on her be admitted to the record.
Absolutely. Without objection.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to note for the record that my no vote on Ms. Estenaz is not reflective of the woman that I had an opportunity to meet with in my office. It is absolutely reflective on the fact that I don't believe that under this administration, we're going to see any better policies out of the Department of Interior when it comes to the state of Alaska. And so I can't support her this morning.
Duly noted.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Daines.
so I voted yes. I said my statement, if I could submit it for the record, please.
Absolutely. Without objection. We're going to turn to the Senate Bill 4753, the Energy Permitting Reform Act. Before I do so, I think there's some opening statements people would like to make. If you keep it 2 minutes, it'd be very, very appreciative. We can get to the bill. Senator White.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, we made history in 2022 with respect to energy